Hi, my name is Anthony Crain, and I want to talk to you guys about how to be more effective working remotely, especially during these times where there's so many of us working remotely. So I've been working remotely at least 1 week a month for most of my career. I work on site 3 weeks a month, and I've also helped many other people get going working remotely. I've helped entire teams get going working remotely. So I thought maybe I could share 6 ideas on how you can help yourselves work remotely better as well. Before I start the 6 ideas, there is one thing. These ideas are predicated on the idea that you have formed people into teams. So first off, if you haven't formed people into teams during this remote working time, that might be the first thing to do. So that's not even one of the six. So I am a business agility consultant, and what that means is there was this thing called the Agile Manifesto, and it was used to help software developers develop software better. But it really is more about how to collaborate and how to cooperate and how to bring work to production of any kind, whether it's writing a novel, whether it's building a skyscraper, whether it's building cars, right? Whatever it is, it's building products a little more effectively using teams that are motivated, that are empowered, that are self-organizing, that care for themselves, how they work. So this has gone way beyond software. Now it's helping hotels run their hotels better. It's saving them even from bankruptcy. It's helping countries run countries better. I know one consultant who's going to go and deliver an agile workshop to a prime minister to help them run their cabinet better. Right? How exciting is that? I know that there's a utility company who is using agile to allow their truck drivers more autonomy when they're out to help them figure out what to work on next. So this has gone way beyond the idea of software and into everyday work. So step zero, if you will, of the 6 ideas, so maybe that makes it 7, would be to think about forming your people into teams. Even if it's like, let's say you have a lawyer, well, pair the lawyers at least. So 2 lawyers are working on a set of cases instead of one lawyer on a case, and then they can collaborate. So whatever it is, find ways to create teams, and that would be your initial step. Now, assuming you've already done that and you have teams, here's my 6 tips to help your teams be more effective. So number one, we like to schedule in our teams 2 90-minute collaborations every day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. During each of these collaborations, we work together, and even if we don't have work that we can pair on, we simply work on our own stuff quietly, but if someone has a question, they simply say, oh, hey, Anthony, I have a question for you. So it's a promise to be for 90 minutes right there at my computer, no delay, no waiting, no phone calls, and no trying to schedule time with me. The team knows, oh, well, we're going to see Anthony again in the next 90-minute session in the PM session. Or someone will say, hey, Anthony, can you teach us something? And I'm like, okay, when do you want to do that? And they're like, can you come to our Wednesday afternoon collaboration? Right? So no finding time with each other. Much more effective than running around finding time. My second idea is that we should have a shared backlog. So there should be a list of work. This is a very common thing for agile teams, but there should be a list of work that needs to get done, and anybody should be willing to work on anything. They call this T-shaped skills, which means that you have a breadth that you can work on anything, but you have a depth of something that you're good at. So as long as there's this kind of depth work, that's what you focus on. But when there isn't that kind of work, you don't then wait until there is that kind of work. You work on anything. I saw this great simulation idea where there's a bunch of work to get done, and there's teams, and you roll dice to see who advances the work, right? How far you advance the work. If the work aligns with your your vertical part, your skill, your specialty, you get to roll 2 dice. If it doesn't, you only get to roll 1 die. Well, that's great analogy, right? So when you're taking an item off of that shared backlog that you're great at, you roll 2 dice. You're going to move it a lot further, a lot faster than anybody else. But when you take work that is not aligned with your specialization, you still advance it. You just go way slower. You roll 1 die, right? So the idea of a T-shaped team is I'll take any work. It's just the only difference is how many dice I get to roll because of how good I am at that thing. And guess what? The more I do those other things, the more dice I'm going to get in the future, right? As my skill grows. Third item. Take more frequent breaks than you're used to. So when I'm at work, like face to face, I can work 12 hours and not take a single break. I know I'm a little bit weird, but I get going. I'm so excited. But now that I'm working from home, man, my brain just starts to fry. So I have noticed that if I just schedule myself every 90 minutes or every even hour to take a 10-minute just break, it's so much better. So schedule frequent breaks for yourself, for your team. Webcams. I hate how many of my peers won't use their webcams. I don't get it. If there's a bandwidth issue, totally understand. But barring that, turn on your webcams. We are no longer face to face. And it's not like we're judging you on your appearance. So that's the second half as well. We want to turn on webcams. We want to acknowledge the fact that we're working from home, which means no makeup, Don't do your hair. Wear your PJs. I don't care. As long as you're not client facing. If you're client facing, clearly the rules change a bit. But if you're with your team, slum it. Wear your stained t-shirt. No one should judge you for that. As long as you turn on your camera, we can get those facial expressions that are so necessary for good collaboration. So please use webcams, but do not dress up for them. My fifth item of 6, watch your personal say-do ratio. So I love this idea. They call it predictability. Do you do what you say you're going to do? So a personal say-do ratio is when I say I'm going to do something, do I actually get it done? This can happen in my work life, but also in my personal life. When I say I'm going to go to that party, if I always show up to the party when I say that, I have a certain 100% say-do ratio, and that affects how people interact with me. When I keep saying yes to things and then not following through at work or in personal life, I have a lower than 100% say-do ratio. And you might want to watch that, especially more so now that we're all distributed. My final thought with you guys, there is a technique called Scrum, and you can Google Scrum Guide. That's SCRUM, like the game, the sport guide, and it's free. It has, I think it's about 19 pages today. I remember it was to be 16, then it was 17. I've heard it's 19 now. I haven't read it the last year or so. But it has 4 events that every team should do in order to better be collaborating and to advance our products, our solutions, our ideas. So if you don't know those, I can do that in a separate video, or you can there's tons and tons of content on those, so I'm not going to waste time. All I'm saying is even if you're not doing software development, the Scrum Guide is great, got great events to help you increase your performance, become a high performance team even when you're distributed. So anyway, I hope that these 6 ideas have helped you, and maybe 7 if you hadn't thought about teams yet, to figure out a way to work remotely but still effectively, keep up morale, keep up productivity. So if those work for you, let me know. If you have ideas on things that we can do to help our remote workers be more effective and happier and productive, please, please, please put them in the comments. I'd love to see those and and learn from your ideas as well. So I hope you found this useful. My name is Anthony Crain, business agility consultant, and I hope that this brings you to the next level.